you're new, we have to talk about Tyler Marsh, man. We have to talk about Tyler Marsh in this one, man, releasing a crazy statement. All right, so there's this article right here, man, released talking about Chicago Sky coach sends strong Angel Reese message after loss to Indiana Fever.
Tyler Marsh really woke up and chose unemployment today, because whatever possessed him to say that about Angel Reese might just earn him a one-way ticket to Jobless Island. We're talking viral chaos, tweets flying, and Angel looking like she's ready to dunk his entire career. You will not believe what came out of his mouth, and trust me, HR departments across the country just flinched. Buckle up, because this is the drama you didn't know you needed.
Chicago Sky, they need to fire Tyler Marsh. I have seen enough. Tyler Marsh, he's not the right coach for this job. He's not a head coach for this team, and he's not a good head coach for any team. Any team. Sometimes you can like know little things about plays and personnel and all this stuff, but that don't make you a head coach. He's not a good head coach. Yeah, he might be a good developing head coach. He's not a good head coach.
Just when you thought it couldn't get messier than Tyler Marsh catching smoke for daring to speak words near Angel Reese's name, now we've got the whole coaching staff sweating like it's a pop quiz on live TV. Is Angel Reese being not great on the court? Yeah, that's not just causing headlines anymore, it's potentially pulling a full-on Titanic maneuver on the Chicago Sky's season. And Coach Teresa Weatherspoon, she might be the orchestra playing as the ship sinks.
We want Camilla and Angel to be good at what they do already. We want to continue to highlight their strengths. We also want to continue to improve and figure out ways where they can score easily, or they can still be effective defensively. I think it's important to understand, though, that even though that they're kind of the cornerstones of this franchise, that championship teams are won 1 through 12. Everyone has a huge...
Let's talk about the Chicago Sky, that once proud WNBA team that now looks like they're in a very public group project with one student who didn't read the syllabus and another who thinks shooting 3 for 15 is just building character. The Sky have gone from being a playoff caliber squad to looking like they're part of a social experiment to see how many turnovers you can commit before a scoreboard physically weeps.
Okay, everybody, so Tyler Marsh, the coach of the Chicago Sky, has just been interviewed, and he was asked if anybody knew about the allegations or heard.
I see a lot of WNBA teams. Here's the player, here's the coach. There's no connection here. Chicago Sky, these players are getting intertwined and they're connected.
Now, let's not pretend Angel Reese is the only problem, but let's also not pretend she's not a problem. Her performance so far has been like trying to microwave a frozen steak. Technically doable, but please don't. She's putting up stats that would only be impressive if you were told they were from someone who was playing with their shoelaces tied together. Every game is either a foul fest, a brick party, or the NBA Street Volume 2 version of hide and seek, except she's hiding from rebounds and the points are seeking a reason to exist.
Oh my God. You guys are so thirsty for a result. You guys have no answers. Your team stinks. And at the end of the day, I'm really sitting and thinking about it, right? And at the end of the day, the Chicago Sky management are the ones who said they are in win now mode. And and everybody assumed they are building around one Angel Reese.
Fast forward to now, and that clipboard is on life support, and the Dream Center applied for a restraining order. At this point, she's probably Googling how to pretend you got hacked mid-game, or is it legal to fake a sprained larynx to avoid post-game interviews? If you don't win, you don't get a statue. You get your parking validated and a security escort to the door. And right now, let's just say this year's postseason chances are looking like they've been written in invisible ink. The Sky are stacking losses like it's a clearance sale, and Teresa Weatherspoon is starting to look like a substitute teacher who got handed a classroom full of sugar-high toddlers armed with basketballs and questionable judgment. You can almost hear her internal monologue during games. Was I wrong to leave broadcasting? Can I go back to being a legend and not a babysitter with a whistle?
Tyler, to your right, when you talk about the inefficiency in the paint, Angel kept getting the ball down there off rebounds or passes, and it just seemed like it would get stripped or blocked. What did you see that was preventing her from getting in the flow of the offense today?
I think it was just some of them were just rushed. I mean that was really it. I think it was just rushed. But I mean, Angel knows that we have confidence in her, just like Camilla, and any of our guards that penetrate into the paint and get looks at the rim. Like we have constant belief and confidence in all of our players to be able to make those, and now it's just a matter of doing it. But yeah, it's not going to be often that we have a ton of nights like this.
And
Angel Reese was supposed to be the it girl, the future of the franchise, the cultural lightning rod who could pull in fans, merch sales, and maybe even a couple of wins. Instead, she's becoming the queen of almost. Almost a rebound, almost a fast break, almost a competent stat line. And after a while, those almosts start piling up like the unread terms and conditions of an app you regret downloading. But here's where it gets juicier. Reese's popularity off the court? Astronomical. She's a brand, a walking headline. She could probably sell sand in a desert and still get a sneaker deal. That's exactly what's turning this into a migraine for Chicago. How do you bench or blame a player with over 1 million Instagram followers, a Nike sponsorship, and a PR machine louder than your team's actual offense? If she plays Reese, well, we all just watched what happened. Spoiler, it wasn't pretty. It looked like someone left the WNBA fundamentals tape in the sun too long, and now all that's left is a VHS of bloopers and bruised egos. And let's not forget the fans.
Aside layups or not, throwing up bricks or not, she was more dominant last season. This season, she's like a bit of a shell of herself. She's capable of playing a lot better than what she has been these past few games. You think about Ariel Atkins and how she played last season before she came to the Sky. Even she has regressed. As individuals, they have talent. As a collective, that talent is not coming together for the betterment of the team. There is no chemistry. There's no offense. There's no defense. And as a coach, as a GM, as an owner, how do you let this continue to go on and not stop it? Like, stop the bleeding.
Well, they are not chill. Chicago sports fans are the type who remember missed free throws like family trauma. They are passionate, loud, and very, very online. After every loss, the comment sections become battlefield zones of finger-pointing, hot takes, and some truly unhinged Photoshop. One fan posted a picture of the scoreboard with a missing persons report for Chicago Sky's offense. Even worse, other teams are starting to circle, like sharks smelling blood. And ownership? Oh, they're watching. Even magic tricks don't work when your assistant disappears, the rabbit won't come out of the hat, and your star forward is actively pulling coins out of the game plan. If the team doesn't turn things around soon, we're not just talking about losing games. We're talking about losing fans, sponsors, and maybe even a franchise identity.
Hey, listen, I know y'all won't hate me for saying this, but goddamn it, somebody gotta say it. Throw away the whole Chicago Sky team. Even the goddamn head coach. He ain't the man for that job. They need some experience. They need a better experienced coach. I understand he was a player development for the D-League and all that stuff, but that man is the head coach of a team now. He ain't the man for the job. Not with the young talent that he has on that team, he is not the man for that job. Either throw away the goddamn team or go get some experienced players to help these younger girls and go get another goddamn coach.
The Sky were once seen as scrappy underdogs who could surprise you. Now they're starting to feel like a cautionary tale. What happens when hype, pressure, and poor coaching chemistry collide in a blender of disappointment? But you know the headline will be, Coach fired amid Angel Reese struggles because narrative is king and logic is for post-game footnotes. That's the price of celebrity stardom in the age of viral everything. You don't just bring buzz, you bring the blame too. So what happens next? Well, unless someone in that locker room discovers the magical power of passing, rebounding, and not fouling like it's a hobby, we're probably going to see some shakeups. Players might go, staff might go, the Gatorade cooler might file for a hostile workplace suit, and we all know it's never the $1 million star with the Instagram empire. It's the poor soul with the clipboard and the post-game headache. So, Teresa, blink twice if you want us to send help or a better playbook.
This man is one of the reasons why Angel Reese will never grow, why Angel Reese's game will never expand. Because she does not only have a coach who is a certified idiot, but she has a coach that supports the propaganda that she's the best on the team. Listen to what this coach had to say in the press conference after Chicago's failed attempt to beat Indiana Fever.
At first, there was hope, optimism, maybe even denial. You could practically hear the internal monologue. She's just adjusting. The potential is there. She needs time. But now, after weeks of watching Reese dribble into defenders like she's trying to merge into traffic with no blinker, even coach is blinking in Morse code. Hell, every game, the same grim deja vu. Angel gets lost on defense like someone trying to remember why they walked into a room, takes shots with the confidence of a Hall of Famer and the accuracy of a sleep-deprived pigeon, and logs enough fouls to qualify as a part-time referee. This isn't the rookie year anymore. This is supposed to be the growth season, but instead of blossoming, Angel is wilting on live television. However, Marsh, on the other hand, looks like someone who just realized she bought a non-refundable trip to a resort that doesn't exist. The future of the franchise is looking more like a brand deal in a jersey than a cornerstone you build around. And now, quietly, nervously, the Sky are wondering, do we change Angel Reese and Marsh, or change everything else? Because make no mistake, that's what it's coming down to. The offense doesn't flow with Angel on the floor, and Angel Reese herself has refused to improve.
You know, I honestly was so hopeful that when I made this post about the Chicago Sky playing Indiana for the second time, that they would be victorious or at least come closer to winning the game. But they did worse in this game than they did in the first game. And Caleb wasn't even playing in this game, which is what is like even more surprising. Like the Chicago Sky, I thought they found like something when they played the Dallas Wings. They won both of those games, said okay, they found something within that lineup, something that's going to work to propel them forward, to start winning games and hopefully have a better season, from this point going forward.
The spacing collapses like a folding chair at a barbecue. Other players hesitate because they're not sure if Angel's about to crash the lane or crash into them. You can see it in the rotations, the substitutions, the way Weatherspoon suddenly has this twitchy habit of calling timeouts the second Angel commits her second foul in 5 minutes. The message is clear without even being said. We've got to adjust. But adjust what? The entire structure? The tempo? The expectations? Because the truth is glaring. Reese hasn't improved. Not statistically, not situationally, and the coach knows it. The confidence is gone, the smiles are tighter, the post-game comments sound like someone trying to explain away a cooking disaster by blaming the stove. And now, quietly, the Sky is tinkering, not to unlock Angel's potential, but to survive it.
So Angel Reese came out and had a 12 rebound, 4-point, 2 assist game in the absence of Caitlin Clark tonight. Angel, they're not coming for you. They're coming to watch the prodigal son or daughter, Caitlin Clark. So as the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky by 29 points without Caitlin Clark, I asked the EBT community, do y'all have eyes? Like, these two players have nothing in.
And just when you think the saga couldn't get more hilariously tragic, here comes the ultimate plot twist. Angel Reese is lucky. Lucky that she didn't have to match up against Caitlin Clark in those 2 brutal games against the Indiana Fever. Because if you thought the Chicago Sky were already circling the drain, Caitlin would have personally unclogged it, tossed the team in, and turned the garbage disposal on high. And with the way Indiana's been handing the Sky their own limbs game after game, we're now 2 episodes deep into what looks like a sweep-the-leg Karate Kid reboot, and Angel? She's watching from the sidelines like an understudy in a Shakespearean tragedy, if the tragedy were self-inflicted layup misses. Let's talk about that for a second, because this isn't just a slump anymore. This is starting to look like an anti-coach reel. Reese is missing layups, in practice, uncontested, in drills, in front of teammates who are now running out of facial expressions to hide the secondhand embarrassment. Like, how do you wear a WNBA jersey, have a professional trainer, get paid, have a whole Nike deal, and still treat a layup like it's a calculus problem written in Latin. We are officially past the give her time phase. We are in the how did she even get here phase. Missing layups is like a pilot forgetting how to taxi a plane, or a barista who can't find the coffee. At this point, someone needs to check if the basketballs in practice are filled with helium and self-loathing, because those point-blank shots are bouncing off the rim like they've been personally offended. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there in Indiana playing like she downloaded the cheat codes to reality. The Fever have been dunking on the sky figuratively, and they're making it look personal. Clark didn't just show up to play. She showed up to dominate, and the Sky were just conveniently placed speed bumps. And while everyone was hoping for the Reese versus Clark rivalry to light up the WNBA like Bird versus Magic, all we've got so far is one player setting records and the other setting off car alarms every time she clangs a shot off the bottom of the backboard. Let's be real, Indiana showed no mercy. Zero. Zilch. They weren't just playing basketball, they were sending a message. A message that read, "We see your hype, and we raise you actual talent." Caitlin Clark came out swinging, delivering full court passes like she's directing traffic with laser beams, hitting logo threes like she's bored of the paint, and dishing assists with the kind of vision that would make optometrists jealous. And Reese, she's lucky she got to watch the carnage from the bench and not be a full-time participant in it.
Owner. If I was the owner for Chicago Sky, I would fire that coach immediately. If I was the franchise owner, I would fire that coach immediately after that statement. Because that alone tells you he's not a leader, nor is he a coach. That tells you he knows nothing about basketball. That tells you he knows nothing about how to lead a team to victory.
Because let's imagine, just for fun, what would have happened if Angel had been locked into those lineups against Caitlin? You think Indiana would have gone easy on her? No. They would have targeted her like a heat-seeking missile. They would have isolated her on defense, baited her into early fouls, and exploited her awkward footwork like a chess grandmaster playing a toddler. It would have been open season, with Clark dropping dimes while Reese tried to remember which end of the court she's supposed to be on. And the scary part? This is not a bad day situation anymore. The trajectory isn't a slow decline. It's a full nosedive into a pit of missed opportunities and confused expressions. Because you know they threw every marketing dollar behind her, expecting a star, a phenomenon, a post-LSU sensation. Instead, they've got a player who can't even trust her own instincts around the rim, and a team that looks more disjointed than a dollar store jigsaw puzzle. And while Indiana's out there climbing the standings and stacking dubs like it's an Amazon warehouse, Chicago is standing in a corner, holding a glittery Reese jersey and a receipt with no return policy.